Okay, it's time. We've waited long enough. It is here. The top 9 Bygone Jim moments of the entire MCU franchise, at least up until this point of 2020. Hey, I'm Matt from Matt Lane Fitness. This channel is all about mental fitness. While I do love fitness, I think that there's a different side to fitness, and that is mental fitness. And that is the Bygone Jim moment. That's where I was able to make this translation. I am super fired up to finally be doing this video. This has been long awaited. I wanted to take some processing time. I found many Bygone Jim moments throughout the MCU series. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what a Bygone Jim moment is, I'm going to explain that. But before we dive all the way into the video, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way, every time I put out a video, you're going to know about it. So if you're new to this channel, you probably aren't aware that my friend Holden has a awesome series going on where I, on his channel, watch movies for the first time. I'm very naive to theater. And here recently, at the time of recording this, we just finished the MCU, the entire MCU. I had not seen it, and I was never a sci-fi guy. That rhymed. I was never really into sci-fi. It just didn't do anything for me. I never gained value from it, but I never really gave it a full chance. So to go through the entire MCU series was very eye-opening. One of the main reasons that I think that I fell in love with the MCU and fell in love with sci-fi, to be honest with you, is that I found moments in the movies that had this Bygone Jim moment. Basically, these are moments of value that are offered to the viewer, typically within a movie, that serve some higher purpose, I feel. You know, I think it's all about your perspective, and it is subjective, but what I gather as value from that is some sort of life lesson or something that you can learn, a teaching moment in the movie, and that I think is powerful. Quick little recap. The first series that Holden and I watched was Star Wars, which I actually didn't end up liking. However, I did find the Bygone Jim moment. I kept mispronouncing Qui-Gon Jinn as Bygone Jim. What's-his-face had an awesome line.
Bygone Jinn.
Bygone Jim had an...
Qui-Gon Jinn.
He had an awesome line. I found a little value there, but he kept popping up, along with Yoda, he kept popping up with these moments of just like heavy-hitting knowledge bomb moments, and I just loved it. So I kept calling it the Bygone Jim moment, and now it's spun into this thing of it is the moment that I gain value in movies. So I wanted to run through the top 9. I had many more, but I wanted to narrow it down. So I'm going to watch it along with you. Number 9, from Civil War, Zemo said this.
Who are you? What do you want?
To see an empire fall. An empire toppled by its enemies can rise again. But one which crumbles from within, that's dead. Forever.
An empire that crumbles from within, that's dead. I think that is so insightful, and I think like the big moment there is self-awareness for an organization or a family. That's what's so cool about these moments is that you can apply it to your everyday life. And in this moment, self-awareness, to know that if you crumble from within, you're screwed. You can get attacked from everybody on the outside. But if you and your crew or family or organization or whatever, if you're crumbling from within, that's truly dead. And that's why I loved that moment. Number 8, Doctor Strange, the Ancient One. My God, she had so many Bygone Jim moments, it's crazy.
You didn't lose me. I wanted the power to defeat my enemies. You gave me the power to defeat my demons and to live within the natural law.
We never lose our demons, Mordo. We only learn to live above them.
We never lose our demons. We only learn to live above them. To me, the big thing there is self-awareness, but I think also self-acceptance. To know that you don't have to run or fear from whatever your quote-unquote demon is. You don't want to hide it. You don't want to bury it. You want to deal with it. And I think that ongoing dealing with whatever your demon is knowing that it's a part of you, but you have the ability to be higher than that. You know, I believe that there's a lower self and a higher self, and that is so evident here in this line. We never lose our demons. We only learn to live above them. Just so beautiful. The Ancient One riddled all of the movies that she was in just with Bygone Jim moments. Absolutely loved her character. Number 7, Ragnarok. I was a big fan of Thor. I really, really was. I loved his sort of grit and power and honor, and this scene with Thor and Hela was powerful.
Okay, get up. You're in my seat.
Your father once told me that a wise king never seeks out war,
But must always be ready for it.
Whoa. It legit gives me goosebumps because a wise king should never seek out war, but must always be ready for it. To me, there's so much wisdom there and strength to know that you have the humility to not seek confrontation. But look, if you're gonna step, if you're really gonna bring it to the front door, I'm gonna put it back on you. Like, I'm gonna fight. And I love, like, I'm getting goosebumps right now because I love that balance of humility and honor, and I guess there's a little empathy there and strength, just brute strength, and I love that so much. That scene captured it so well, the quote-unquote evil versus the good, and knowing that Dad, the king, had a little bit of both of that real good while having that tough side of him too. So I love that moment so much. Number 6, Captain Marvel. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna screw his name up. Yon Rawg? Roast me in the comments, it's all good. Number 6.
Control it. Lose control again and you'll have to commune with a supreme intelligence. There's nothing more dangerous to a warrior than emotion.
So, while we're not all warriors, obviously, I love that so much. There's nothing more dangerous for a warrior than emotion. And I think this speaks so much to emotional intelligence and focus. Obviously, for a warrior, it takes so much more focus to not let their emotions get the best of them, especially in the heat of the moment in a battle. But I think we can use that in our everyday lives where your simple conversations that turn into confrontation, you can really turn that around by excluding your emotion from it, looking at it objectively. That's a real measurement of someone's emotional intelligence. I think that's huge, and not everybody has it. That's something I continuously work on myself. I loved that part of this movie. Turns out he was a jerk though, so that sucks. Number 5, Age of Ultron, Vision. Vision was such a wise character. I loved his character. I loved it.
But a thing isn't beautiful because it lasts.
Whoo, man. A thing isn't beautiful because it lasts. I think in today's time, a lot of things are expendable. Time is so elusive. When you're younger, you feel like you have all the time in the world, but when you start hitting 30 and, I don't know, your perspective of time shifts, and I think that's exactly what this is. This is a snapshot. It's sort of a look that time is the one aspect that you can't get back. Like, the moment that something is beautiful is the most beautiful that it will ever be. It will never be more grand than it is right now. To realize, to live in this moment, and to appreciate whatever thing that is beautiful. Keep that, hold it, cherish it. God, what a line. I loved it so much. Number 4, Endgame. This was my favorite movie by a real close margin to Black Panther, but this one made me cry so much. Frigga said this line, and it was so impactful between Thor and her, and knowing that she's mom and just throwing just such knowledge to her son, knowing that she's dying on this day. Like, it was such a huge moment.
No, you're no idiot. You're here, aren't you? Seeking counsel from the wisest person in Asgard.
Yeah, yes.
Idiot now. A failure? Absolutely.
It's a little bit harsh.
Do you know what that makes you? Just like everyone else.
I'm not supposed to be like everyone else, am I?
Everyone fails at who they're supposed to be, Thor. The measure of a person, of a hero, is how well they succeed at being who they are.
Oh man. A measure of a person is how they succeed at who they are. She said so much here, and even before that one Bygone Jim moment, she was dropping even more, talking about you're a failure. And she said it in such a positive light. I love that because failure is such a good thing. And then she went in, even before I'm even getting to this bygone Jim moment, she was basically talking about becoming who you're supposed to be. The measurement of yourself, not the expectations of others. And that's what I think this scene does, is that it talks about the expectation and judgment of yourself. The expectation of yourself is what matters. The judgment of yourself is so easy, and I think that we all do it. But when you can get to a point where you don't judge yourself, it's a really beautiful place. Because judging yourself doesn't progress you at all. And Thor in this scene was beating the hell out of himself. His mom did such a good job at saying, look, yeah, you failed. Everyone fails. Even heroes fail. But to pursue, to continue, to work on you, to better you, that's what makes a real hero. And I just, oh my God, the scene is just, it gets me emotional. Mom's there with his son, and it's just, ugh. It hit me. Number 3, Aldridge Killian said this. By the way, Iron Man's my favorite character of everybody.
Well, I can't say that I'm not disappointed. Then, as my father used to say, failure is the fog through which we glimpse triumph.
I remember hearing that for the first time in this movie, and it slapped me in the face with value, because yes, it's coming from a bad guy. He has bad intentions. That's the beauty of this. Even a bad guy, the bad part of the movie, quote unquote, you can gain value from, and that's why I loved it so much. This was such a big bygone Jim moment, that failure's the fog where we glimpse triumph. Just like how old mom was talking to Thor, that failure is a fantastic thing. In our culture, failure is looked at as something to laugh at and something to be ashamed of, when I think that it should be embraced and celebrated. I think that your failures lead to your success. I know that your failures lead to your success. Anything I've ever screwed up on, failed on, when I was able to come back and accomplish it, it felt 10 times sweeter, man. So the failure piece, like viewing failure as a lesson rather than something that you didn't get done. Like realizing that it's just a speed bump and one day gonna be your triumph, that is such a huge, huge thing for someone's development. I love it so much. It's so friggin' huge. So the top 2, these were really, really tough to me. I put all of these in order of how they impacted me the most. These last 2 were a real tough thing to narrow down. Number 2, Black Panther, King T'Challa. God, I loved his character. What a fantastic movie. As a standalone movie from all of the movies in the MCU, this was my favorite standalone movie.
We cannot. We must not. We will work to be an example of how we as brothers and sisters on this earth should treat each other. Now more than ever, the illusions of division threaten our very existence. We all know the truth. More connects us than separates us. But in times of crisis, the wise build bridges, while the foolish build barriers. We must find a way to look after one another, as if we were one single tribe.
I'm getting goosebumps right now. We will work to be an example of how we as brothers and sisters on this earth should treat each other. Illusions of division threaten our very existence. We are more connected than divided. In times of crisis, wise men build bridges, while the foolish build barriers. We must find a way to look after one another as if we were one single tribe. Oh, my Lord. The first time I saw this, I watched it 3 or 4 times back to back. There was so much in that for me to process. There was so much value there. I think that every bit of it came from fear, empathy, love, and progress. It talked about so much about how we have these fake lines of division within one another, how we are all one people, one tribe, how the color, and you know what this is, like this is highly controversial. I get it. Like I understand where they were going with this, and like how this touches on racism and sexism and all of these illusions that are divisions that for some reason we continue to hold. And I'm not going into politics to the left or right or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. What I love about this is that it talked about people and being together, and that there is a division that we must get rid of. That is why I think that these moments in these movies are so huge. I think that this type of moment in a movie can change the way civilizations go about their life. I'm serious. That's how heavy I look at this. In times of crisis, wise men build bridges while the foolish build barriers. And that's that fear piece. I feel that the people that build barriers are the fearful people. Why is there that fear? It's that division, and it's a tough one. It's a really tough subject, but I think that when it's talked about and when someone like myself that doesn't care about sci-fi can be impacted, I didn't know if it was gonna be number 1 or number 2, but good Lord. All right, you know I was gonna end this with Tony. Tony is my favorite character. He was from the start, and he was all the way until his quote-unquote end. I don't believe that any of these characters actually die, so that's what that's talking about. In the MCU, as an MCU movie, Endgame was my favorite. The number 1 Bygone Jim moment was from Endgame, from Tony Stark. It was a quick one. For me, it was so powerful.
No amount of money ever bought a second of time.
No amount of money ever bought a second of time. To me, what this did is it spoke to happiness, time, and money. Money is something in my life, the relationship I've had with money has sort of ruled me. There's a time in my life that I really did think that money bought happiness. Now, I verbalized that money didn't buy happiness, but I don't believe that I fully believed it. So this hit home so hard with me, and how coincidental that it was in the very last movie that we saw. It was from my favorite character. It was during a monumental moment talking to his dad, and it was just so huge, and I think that so many people can learn from this. These Bygone Jim moments did so much for me, and again, is the reason that I love the MCU as a whole, and that I now can appreciate sci-fi. So I thank the Bygone Jim moments for that. I know that there was no way I was going to remember all of these things, and I have ADHD, so I wanted to make sure I got all of this out in an organized fashion. So here we go. Expounding on the Bygone Jim moment. Some people, I understand, like, it's not that big of a deal to them. Like, it's just a movie. But to me, words are very important. They're a language, and they're communication. Social media is also communication, and I think a lot of our lives are now buried in social media. And when I say buried, I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean it's a part of our life. So words make up this social media thing to a majority of it. Words are huge. Words, to me, can communicate, can break things down, can give perspective, can destroy things, can incite love, can bring empathy. Words to me are absolutely huge. I am a type of person that I choose my words very thoughtfully, which is why I wrote everything down to make sure I said it correctly, because I want this to come through the way I want it to come through. I combed through all of the MCU movies, and I found about 20 Bygone Jim moments that really hit me. I went back through all of Holden and my videos of us watching the MCU. I came up with 20 and had to narrow it down to a list of 9 because I felt that those 9 hit me the most. But I will put all 20 in a pinned comment down below if you want to see them. So if you followed us along through the entire MCU and the My Friend Watches series, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it. I put a lot of time and effort into this by researching all the movies, but I'm glad we did it. I'm really grateful to the MCU for now, the Bygone Jim moment, bringing me so much value that I actually enjoy sci-fi. So thank you. And thanks to everybody that came along with us. I love you. You don't have to be perfect at this Bygone Jim moment thing. Just try to be better than yesterday. Every day.